All right, so we're going to be talking about Canvas modules today, and there's so many things we can do. We could actually spend days and days on different ways to do modules, but we just want to have a kind of a conversation about, what is really our purpose for modules. I know there are so many options that we have, but we want to make sure we're starting at the right place, because at first we were just doing modules just for the sake of doing them because we didn't really know how to organize our assignments. But now that you've had some experience in using them for a little bit, we'll talk about some theory behind it as well. So it says right here, a roadmap that helps us, let me go ahead and present. I'm going to skip some slides in here, by the way, just so you know. Oops, that's for a roadmap that helps us organize our course content by weeks, units, topics, or whatever works best for us and our students. So it's a fun quote down here. The best teachers are like hip hop producers. Study the classics, select the best parts, then add some new flavor. So that's what we're hoping you get to do today. You can study the different ways to do it, find what works best for you, and then just add some new flavor to make it just make it perfect for your class. Okay, so you could see here we're going to be going over different types of content. We've seen a lot of your modules, a lot of your awesome modules. Some of you are doing it by days. Some are doing it by weeks, some are doing it by units, topics, etc. There's no wrong way. We just want to show you the different ways and you can choose for yourself, okay? So when we think of modules as anything, when we're planning our curriculum, we always think of backwards planning. What is our goal? Because if we don't think of it that way, then you're going to end up putting a lot of work and sometimes a lot of unnecessary work into your modules and your Canvas and your organization and things like that. So if you think of what is the purpose of this module that I'm creating, maybe your purpose is to get through the day because it's a daily module. It's your Monday module and your purpose is to get to the end of that day, and that's totally fine, okay? Maybe the purpose of your module is to finish a certain skill. So your purpose is so the kids can learn this certain skill and you're going to take them to a quiz at the end. So that is your purpose. So think about it. Think of what your purpose is for the module, not just organization. What is your end goal, okay? So it says here, start with your objective or standard. So maybe you're trying to hit a certain standard here. You're working on reading comprehension, reading literature, something like that. And then from there, decide what tools are going to drive your module. So instead of going around the internet and finding the coolest tools out there and trying to squeeze them into your module, think of really, does this work for my purpose? Because your modules don't have to be super long. You don't have to use every tool under the sun. You have to know what your goal is and be selective with what you use so that you're purposeful and everything has a purpose. It's not just to look pretty, which is great. Pretty is great, but that's not our purpose, right? Or modules will be like 5 days long. Okay, and then always, so this is not always the case with this elementary, but when it comes to skills, yes, it says always end with a culmination quiz assignment project to determine mastery. So if your module was about a certain skill, then you would end with a quiz on that skill. It only makes sense, right? But if you're talking about, no, I'm just trying to get through the day, then it's up to you how you would end that as well. Okay, so just so you know, let me go ahead and move on. All right, so I'm going to skip that. So vehicle and tools to get me to my destination. So there are a lot of tools that we can use in our Canvas assignments. We have pages, discussions, we have external tools like Office 365. We also have our Google assignments. Those are tools that you can use to get to your destination, right? Your actual curricular sites like your ELA. I think we're in elementary right now. So McGraw-Hill Connect Ed. We have our Think Central. Those will be the tools that get you to your final destination, right? You have your recording. They can record and read, write, listen, yes, video projects and things like that. Okay, so here's also something to consider as well, alternative routes and detours. So we know our kids are not all the same. And we know that I've seen a lot of your schedules and you're actually working with them in small groups, which is amazing, amazing, amazing. But there are also ways for you to differentiate within your models. And some of you might not be ready for that yet. So if you're not ready for that, it's okay. Just let it gloss over you today. It's fine. But if you're ready for it, great. There are ways to make your modules personalized by something called mastery paths. And we're going to talk about that later, but we're not going to go fully into it because it might be much for you. Okay, so mastery paths, if you haven't tried it yet, it means that when they go through your modules, depending on how they do, it will push them to different parts of your module. So for your kids who are really ready, it'll take them somewhere else. For your kids who need extra support, it will take them to other resources that give them more support. So that's what mastery paths is. Differentiation in here, different options to demonstrate mastery. So maybe you have kids who, I mean, we have kids who are great thinkers. Maybe they're not the best of readers yet. So you want them to have choices on how to show their knowledge. Maybe it's not just a written piece. You want them to show a video, things like that. So providing them different opportunities to show what they know. Okay. And we already said that, so I'm going to stop right there. So I know that was a lot. I know that was a lot of information. Just kind of wanted to give you the background of it before we get into the juicy part of our of our training today. So Christina's going to take us through right now. And again, if you have questions, feel free to put it in the chat or just save it for our live later.
Thank you. And Teresa, it's refreshing to actually hear like a little bit about pedagogy, as like we've been just go, 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 and okay, just trying to get through each day, which is totally understandable, you know, but it's nice to know that we're moving towards a place where we're feeling a little bit more comfortable with what we're doing, and we get a chance to kind of explore a little bit more. So speaking about exploring, we're going to go ahead and actually look at some samples or examples of different types of planning that you could do, different types of things for that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you really quickly. And I'm going to go ahead and take you to the Commons, which is a great place for resources. I never like to start from scratch and reinvent the wheel. I like to see what other people are doing first before I decide that I'm going to create my module and how I want to design it. So I'm going to just go ahead and type in the search here. I'm going to type in example modules. And when I come to that, there's going to be a couple that I just kind of want to go over with you. The first one is an example of a weekly module. So I know a lot of you are planning your modules, you know, for each week. So, and if you are not, here's a great example of how you could actually do that and what that might look like. So I'm in the preview right now in the Commons, and this actual module is organized by week. So you could put, you know, week 1 and then September and then the date, right? From, you know, the 1st until whenever. And you're starting actually on a Monday. And it kind of gives you really great visuals for those students who know, okay, Monday, here's what we're doing Monday. We have reading, we have a short video, we have a discussion. Okay, and then they're able to see their math for Monday. What math 1.1, right? And then we're able to do Tuesday. And then so they can see what they're doing for each part of the day. Okay, so Wednesday, and then it goes all the way through the end, and then Friday, and then there's some extra at the very end for social studies. So a really great visual, and we'll share with you how you can actually put these icons in your module, because if you end up just listing them all out, it tends to get a little bit boring and a little bit harder to read for those students. We want to let you know that weekly is definitely a great way to organize all of your information in your module. Another great way, I'm going to go ahead and take you to, and if you want to browse these, again, I just typed in example modules. There are so many different ways for you to organize. I just thought I'd pick out just a couple so we can kind of get your brain going to see, you know, what you've been using as well. There's a 4th grade e-learning that I really liked as well. And so this one is actually organized by day. Okay, and there are a lot of things once you get up into the upper grades with science and math, and you know, special things that you want them to complete, social studies. So this is a really great way to organize everything so that the students can see it during that whole day there. So that's organized by day, and you would have to create a new module for each day if you're going to be doing something like this. Okay. And then the last one I want to go over, it's labeled week 4. Let me see if I can scroll down to find it. Right down. I don't see it coming up right away. I knew it was down a little bit further, but let's go ahead and look at this elementary. Here's another one, week 1 and 2. So this is 2 different modules, right? We have week 1 module. And then we have different lessons. Here's your instructions, which I really like to be able to put maybe an instruction document for that whole week if you're planning on doing a week long. That really gets the students to understand. Here they're reading the lesson, and then they have all the different modalities underneath, so quizzes or discussion pieces. That's another thing too, that when the students are looking at those icons there right here where it says introduce yourself, right? That's going to be a discussion piece because you see those little chat boxes. The rocket ships are tests or quizzes, right? And then the assignment button down here where this one says inventions and innovations. So a really great visual modules are great for creating a shell of what you actually want to present to your students. So we're going to take just a second. I think, Teresa, do you agree that this would be a good time to kind of have a little discussion or even break out into some rooms where we can share our best practices and what we've already been doing and maybe the way that you like to organize your modules?
Yeah, this would be a good place, Christina, if you want to break them off right now. Can we do groups instead? We have about 64 people in here, so maybe maybe we'll do TKK 1, 2, and then 3, 5 maybe.
Okay, so let's see. We're going to manually do that. I'm going to create these rooms. I'm going to rename this first one. It's going to be TK2, you said?
TKK.
TKK.
Kinder's a whole different beast, so.
Yes. Okay, and then let's see. We're going to do this maybe. One. Okay. It's just easier for me to rename them as I go. That way, as soon as I see your grade level, I can go ahead and put you into those rooms. So let me see this one.
So while we're waiting, everyone, if you're not renamed yet, you might want to go in and rename yourself by clicking on participants and then hovering over your name and then rename, starting with your grade level. If not, I'll stay after Christina and kind of, oh no, I can't push them. That's you, huh?
Yeah. I can go into the room afterwards too. Let's see. There should be too many of them.
So have a few more who are coming in right now.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and assign those ones. We'll go 3 through 5.
Okay, so you might be wondering, what are we doing right now? We're about to stick you in rooms right now with a grade band, you know, it's TKK, etc. And it's a place for you to discuss how you built your modules and what has worked for you and what hasn't, you know, just to kind of talk to people who are going through the same things you are. So we're going to be, I'll pop in, Christine and I will pop into all 3 rooms to support, but we don't want to drive these conversations. We want you to have a chance to talk to your colleagues and talk about how modules have worked for you. Okay, just so you kind of have a better idea so that when we come back together, Christine is actually going to take us through the steps of making a module, and you'll have in mind ideas that you've received from your colleagues, hopefully. So that's our goal right now. All right. Oh, here they come.
Here they come. Here they come.
All right, everybody seems to be coming back. Let's make sure we didn't forget anybody in a room somewhere. That would be, can you imagine? Oh man.
Can you just let me know, since I wasn't able to hop in there and I was actually still admitting people as well, what were some of the conversations like, or
Sure. I was only able to get into one room, so we'll probably let them unmute and kind of share that with us right now. So everyone, welcome back, everybody. We see you trickling in right now, and I apologize we didn't get out to every room. We just really wanted to spend more time, but we couldn't, and we got called back because Christina's very strict about time. So
I can open them up. I'm joking.
I'm joking. No. She's doing what she should, or we'll be here all day long. Okay, so so now that we're back together and I didn't get to go into every room, feel free to unmute yourself and just kind of share some ideas of what you do for modules, and that will help us as we move forward with our training so we know where to focus. Okay, so anyone willing to share, just feel free to unmute and just share what has worked for you in modules. It's your time.
This isn't about modules, but I was talking with Laverne and the 2nd grade group, and we got pushed back over here. So I just want to finish a sentence. Is that cool? Okay. So we were discussing how Think Central and Wonders don't push over. So we aren't able to, you know, push those grades into Canvas. So what our team had done is just in Canvas, we create assignments with no submission. We find out how many points each is worth. If we've assigned 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, and 2.5 for the week, we just look at the points, add them in, and then we just manually enter them. That way you can still push their participation and you can push their how they completed their Think Central and their Wonders over into Aries if you need to. It's another step, but you know, you can just duplicate it each week and change the titles. So that's what we've been doing. Not a module thing, but I do put it in a module.
It's very related.
It's in my weekly module, and it does help the parents know this is an assignment, this is getting a grade, this is what the points are, and these are the lessons you have to complete this week. So kind of related.
Perfect. Thank you. And I think Christina was going to mention that. So that's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you for sharing that. For
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, and it's,
Anyone
I mean,
else?
see, we don't even need to do this one. You guys are just put on the presentation.
You
That's
just
one of the
train
things we're going to
everybody.
go over, and then be able to actually during that assignment put your instructional minutes next to it, and then you have a, you know, everything is all in one place. So that's a great way to do it. We really appreciate that.
I think I saw Tara. Is it
Go ahead and
Tara or
share
Tara?
about modules.
Oh, you're muted, dear.
I have a question kind of piggybacking off her, because if you do no submission, does it show up on their to-do list? Does it? And then how does it come off their to-do list? Is that when you put the grade in? Okay. All right. Thank you. That
Yeah,
helps.
sometimes we don't get to see with students. So yes, thank you for confirming that it does show up on their to-do list and that they
Yeah.
will be able to take it off after you put the grade in for it. That's
Yeah,
Oh,
because
that's
I tell
something I
my
learned. I
kids, you
didn't
look
know
at that
it
to-do
did.
list. So I want
look-
everything on the to-do list.
Yeah, they
Does it show
can't
up
do
on the
anything
to-do
about
list?
it, but it will go
Oh, it
away as soon
does.
as you grade it.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, see, I learned too. Okay, anyone else want to share what they do with, I was talking with Kinder, so I'll share on behalf of TK Kinder. Most of them were, no matter what they do, whether or not they're using modules, they're putting everything on pages for the most part. Not everybody, for the most part. So their lessons for the day, their videos, their instructions, where they want them to go, they're doing it in pages. Some of them are doing it on the home page and are changing it every day. Bless your heart. They're doing all of that. We do have some kinder teachers who are going through modules, daily modules, and they're taking it through day by day. You know, we have people doing dual immersion, so they're doing like triple, quadruple the work. So I'd like to hear from some of the other grade levels, anyone first through fifth, what you do for your modules.
Well,
We'll give you
we're
about-
doing
yeah. Mhm.
we're
Go
doing
ahead.
ours daily, but the way they get to it is they click on a button on the homepage that says daily agenda, and then a calendar comes up. And they
Okay.
go to that day's calendar and click on daily agenda again, and then their agenda for the whole day comes up and tells them everything they're going to do. And then they just click next, 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 next. Like do every assignment, click next, do every assignment, click next. So that's been the easiest in the sense that they know exactly where to go each day. But they can find assignments that are not on that day if you publish them ahead of time. You know, so, but at least it gives them like, yeah, but that's what we're doing.
And we've heard from some teachers, they said, well, the parents want to see them ahead of time. They kind of want to prepare and get ready. So again, that's something to consider too. So Christina, it's up to you if you want to take this further, if you want to just start to go into your part.
Yeah, I mean, I have so many questions. I mean, it's like, mostly when the students are younger and they're going like through the module day by day and they're doing this on their own time, correct? Or are they doing this while you're teaching with them? So they need to open up, you know, something else, another tab. Like, is this just for when they're done working with you during the day and then they're able to go and do their own assignments? I'm seeing nods and yeses. Okay. All right, perfect. Just good to know for best practices, because you know it's tough. At some point, we don't know what we're gonna having to be ask our students to do. So
let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna share my screen with you, and I'm gonna bring up my Canvas course here. So we're going to move out of the Commons and I'm going to go to my dashboard. And right now we're going to actually go ahead and go into structuring your Canvas course, your module, and how that might look. It might look different. I'm actually going to go ahead and create my own module from scratch so you can see how that would work. So I'm going to go to modules on the left-hand side here. And if you're following along with me and you want to create your own shell for a module, you're more than welcome to do that. So when I start a module, I'm just going to go ahead and create a new module here. I can also use this plus button to add a module as well. And I'm going to actually do my module by week. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type in week 1, say this is my first week, and let's do August 31st through September, let's see, what's the date on there? September 4th, okay? And then if I go ahead and click add to module, it's gonna go ahead and create a brand new module for me. And while I'm at it, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and create week 2 as well, just so I know, because I know I'm gonna be able to do that also. So I can say week 2, and then it's going to be September. I have to look at my calendar here. September 10th. Is that the, let me go to my next one. So I'm going to do September 7th through the 11th. Okay. And I guess it really didn't matter how, if I was off or right on the dates, right? So here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and add this module as well. So now I've got 2 separate modules, okay? And if I don't want to see what's going on down here, I can always use this little arrow button to collapse what's there. But since there's nothing there at this time, we don't have to do that. So once I've created my module, I'm not going to go here to add module again. I'm just going to go ahead and do the plus button within my module for week 1, okay? So for week 1, I know that I am gonna do an assignment, okay? And my first assignment is, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and start with a page because I want to go ahead and put some introductions and learning outcomes for this week. So I'm gonna go ahead and click page and then new page because I don't have one that I want to use here. And I'm gonna go ahead and title this page module introduction. Okay, and I'm going to say don't indent. We'll talk about this indentation a little bit later. It's going to help you organize your module a little bit better. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that item. Okay, and now I see, oh, this is the first thing that my students are going to see in this module, and this might be letting them know, okay, this is what we're going to be working on for the week. Here are the assignments, okay? Now I want to go ahead and create an assignment because I want them to be able to go ahead and work. So again, I'm just going to go ahead to the add button, and I'm going to click here, and I'm going to click assignment. And if I already have an assignment that I've created that I want to use from previous modules, I can do that, but I'm going to create a whole new assignment. And this week we are going to be focusing on life science, and I want this to be an introduction assignment here, okay? So I'm just going to click life science. Great, now I have an intro page, and now I have a page where I have an assignment. And maybe I want my students to take kind of like an entrance ticket, right? And I'm gonna have them do a little quiz to see what they know about life science for this week. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and go to add. And this time I'm gonna make it a quiz. And this is gonna help with our learning path as well. So I'm gonna start a new quiz. And I'm gonna name this entrance ticket. And then I'm gonna do number 1 because I might have another one, you know, that I'm gonna add to another module or something. It's in the assignments group, but if you choose and you want to make it go into the quizzes group, I don't actually have a quizzes on mine, but you can go ahead and match that with your categories as needed as well. And I'm not gonna indent, and I'm gonna add that item. So right now, I'm not actually putting any content into my module. I'm just thinking about, you know what, I know I'm going to want to do, you know, a little pretest at the end of the week for life science, or I know I'm going to have to do my wonders pretest that I'm working on. Whatever you decide to list for your assignments, I could go on and on and on. I could list another assignment, but what I want to share with you is that doesn't matter how you put the order of the assignments in when you're building your module, okay? If I go back later after I'm done building it, I'm like, oh, you know what? I really needed to put, you know, a little PowerPoint presentation in there for these kids before they do their entrance ticket, or, you know, after, and I can go ahead and add that. And the neat thing is that over on the left-hand side here, we have the feature that you can drag and drop, right? So maybe, you know what, I'm going to keep my module intro at the very top, but maybe I want them to do the entrance ticket before the actual assignment, right? Yeah, that looks better. Now I have it in the right order, okay? And then again, on this little arrow here, I can go ahead and I can press that there so that I can hide everything, which is really nice too. And the students will have to know how to do this as well for your modules. So you're going to have to make sure to let them know that that little button is there, because once they build up, it becomes a lot, and it's a lot for someone to look for too. So now that I've went ahead and I've created a little shell, if you will, you can actually go ahead and you can, you know, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to add a discussion here really quickly as well. Just so you can kind of see how different it is, okay? And I'm going to do a new topic, and maybe this is going to be, you're going to talk about, tell me all you know, all about, let's make it a little shorter. Let's do human body, okay? For life science, we're going to talk about the human body, and I'm going to go ahead and add that item there. Have some people in our waiting room. So now I have a page, I have a quiz, I have an assignment, and I have a discussion. So it's really neat with modules that you could just build everything out in this one page. And all these buttons on the left-hand side here, those are all great to use, and you can still use those in, by themselves, but you don't have to keep moving back and forth, right? And then if I decide, okay, for my module intro, I want to go ahead and build that page, right? I can click on the little 3 dots here on the right-hand side, and then I can go ahead and edit that page right away, right? And I can update it here as well, okay? If I actually click on the title, okay, it brings me into my actual place where I can edit, and I'm able to do all of those things with my pages, type in all the things, put in all the links that I need, images, all the pictures, okay, and give our students the introduction that they might need. And I'm not going to actually take the time to do that because we did have a training on this prior, because I do really want to focus on the modules and the features there. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to save this really quickly first, and I'm going to go ahead and go back to my modules. And now I'm back here on my main page as well. So a lot of really neat things that you can actually do. If you decided that you wanted to keep adding, for certain days, a really neat feature is that you can go ahead and add a text header. So if I click text header here at the top, I just add it again to my module. And maybe I want this to say Monday, because all of these things that I just did, I want them to do on Monday, right? And I'm going to say don't indent on this, but I'm going to add that. Now Monday went all the way down here at the bottom, but I want that to come up first as my main header. So now it looks really nice. I have my week 1, I have Monday, and I know that on Monday we're going to do these 4 things, right? Another neat way to kind of make it look like so that it indents is I can double click on this module intro, or single click, and I can go ahead and edit it. And if I say indent this time, 1 level, and I update that, it kind of brings it out a little bit more to make it visually, more appealing, so I can see what's underneath each of those headings. So I click edit, and I want to go ahead and indent 1 level. I'm going to update it, and I'm going to have to go through each one of these, but you know what? It's going to make such a big difference for your students just in the visual appeal of it, so that they can understand that it is something all underneath Monday. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to update. So now I kind of have a really nice thing. It's looking great, and I know what I want my students to do. I can go ahead and add another one, and Tuesday would be underneath, right? And I can go ahead and put Tuesday in there, and I don't want to indent this one, but I'm going to add it. And then Tuesday comes here, and now I'm already done with my shell of my module to see what it might look like, as far as planning out a module by each week, right? And now this will probably get long because you're gonna have one for each day, but you are able to go ahead and only publish, okay, it's Monday, I'm gonna go ahead and publish these things, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and publish my module. So that way, when the students see it, even if I've created the whole week, they're only going to see that Monday piece when they go to sign on. Okay. So there's some really, really great features there. And just one of the ways, again, that you can organize your module. We would be able to go on and on and on and add more as we go. I do know that Teresa was going to share with us one of the other ways. We have visuals here for our students to see, but maybe you want every Monday to have its own emoji or image that goes with it. So Teresa, do you want to go ahead and go over that?
Sure. Okay. And I also saw a question in the chat as well. And somebody said, I believe some people are putting emojis as symbols to show what type of assignment it is. Do you know how to do that? So I'm just going to, let me show you how to do that really quickly. Okay. So some of you, let me see, let me find the right screen. 3. There we go. All right, so in order for, we saw a lot of teachers and we saw their Canvas sites and we're like, whoa, that's so much easier to see because they use specific emojis for different things. Like for reading, you always have the book. For math, they you know, things like that just to help organize. Because for me, when I see lots of words, I'm overwhelmed. But when I see symbols, it's easier for me to kind of not feel as overwhelmed because I see what it's for and I like to stay consistent like that. So I was researching online how on earth they did that. And so I found there was this place right here that showed how to do it. You just go to anywhere online. They used Emojipedia, which looks like this, and you just find emojis that you want to use. And then you would just simply, you would copy and paste them into your rich text editor. It's so simple as that. So like if you want the happy face, you could just use this image here, or you could just save it straight. I think you could just save it straight from here. I'm going to try it right now. Let's learn together.
Yeah, do it.
Let's just do it. I wanted to pretend like I already knew, but that didn't work out as planned. Okay, so let me just go ahead right here. So assignment name. So let's pretend I was making this assignment. Let's say I'm going to look for, let's say I just want, I'm going to try this one first. I'm going to copy that and see if it lets me. Oh, there it is. It's like magic.
It's the little things, right? But those are going to be the cues that you're going to really help out your students. So,
and then I'm curious, have maybe nothing to do with that at this point, but I'm just going to see what happens if I choose the big one.
Teresa?
Yes, hi.
I'm sorry, this is Kathy. I added emojis to my Canvas so that they knew like what time of day they were supposed to do it, like in between our breaks.
Yes.
And I looked up how to do it online as well. And when you're typing in the bar that says what you're going to be doing, all you have to do if you're on one of our computers is hit the Windows sign and period, and a whole bunch pop up and you can just click on it.
Okay, so
then you can pick whichever one you want.
I already knew that, Kathy, because I'm the trainer. So
I'm sure you did, because you know everything, Teresa.
Oh my goodness. So anyways, let's rewind. So instead of going to look on an outside site like this beautiful emoji, whatever, let's practice what I already knew, which is Windows and period.
Yeah. It works. I mean, you don't have as many to choose from. I mean, it goes pages and pages, but it's not as many as, let's say, that's on your emoji,
that other one,
like on your phone.
Okay, so this is a great one. And if you want more, you can use the other one. So none of them is wrong.
Right.
So we're just going to put this funny thing. There you go. There you go. Thanks, Kathy.
Yeah.
Eat the bomb.
And, and for us, Matt, if you're using a Mac computer, the short
there is one for that. If you Google it, it'll tell you. There's a video that shows.
Debbie, go ahead. I think she knows.
Oh, sorry.
What is it? Control
command spacebar.
There you go.
Oh, I'm not on a Mac. Why am I trying it? Okay, it's Monday, you guys. Here we go. Okay, so so there you go. So if you do want to use emojis to help you organize, there are now 3 ways to do it, which we all learned together today. So that's why I love these sessions, you guys. I learned so much. So it does help very much for me when I looked at my daughters, because they're using it as well. And I saw it had no emojis and I was like, oh, but it did help. So it's not a requirement, but it is very helpful visually to help organize that for you. So just so you know. I think that was it, Christina. I'm sorry.
No, it was the perfect time to bring it in because I thought it was really important. I just think it makes a big deal. So one of the other things that I just wanted to share with you guys as well with modules, I'm going to just go ahead and share my screen again real quickly. So one of the neat things is that you can actually go here. Oops, I don't want to go there. To the top part of your module, and you are able to duplicate this module. So if you create a super awesome shell for your week and you know that you're going to use that shell of a module for, you know, the weeks to come, you can copy that 1 week, right? And I can just do duplicate. Okay, and it's going to, oh, you know why? Because I just told you this, Teresa, in the training, and it's not going to do it because it tells me that I have a quiz in this module. And oh no, it's showing. But just so that you know, if you have a quiz that's in your module, which is this one we labeled as the entrance ticket, it will not let you duplicate the module. So you're going to have to go and delete the quiz or unpublish and then go ahead and reduplicate. I'm not sure why it's still spinning right now. Maybe if I refresh my page here. Let's see, did it do it? No, it did not. Okay, so let's go ahead and if I delete this one, if I edit and remove it because my students already did it, it was in the previous week. If I go here and click duplicate, see, it went ahead and created a copy for me. Now that is kind of a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a hindrance because you have to go and rename those assignments. But maybe if you do daily language every single day, right, you'll just remove that thing that says copy when you edit it, and you have a nice little shell to continue using for that next week. So I think that's a great time saver. I mean, we're all about trying to make more time for ourselves and spend less time on assignments. So another great feature for modules as well.
Isn't that a new thing, Christina? That wasn't there before.
Yeah,
people were taking their assignments and copying it one by one. Now the whole module, that's pretty powerful. So
exactly. Yeah, so I think those are pretty much the basics as far as, you know, what we want to share with you as far as the modules. I went over the tools and the indentations and collapsing. The only other thing that we might want to talk about is being able to unlock different modules, you know, or prerequisites. I know Teresa was going to kind of go over the mastery path just a little bit with you guys before we had some time for questions. So Teresa, do we want to move into that or do we want to move into questions? What do you prefer?
I did want to show them the mastery path because I think some of them might want to see it, and then we'll take questions from there. I won't spend too much time in it, I promise.
Perfect. It's a really neat feature. I think it's definitely worth sharing. So we can learn more about it.
All right. So thank you everyone for your patience. This we're at the final stretch right now. And so I wanted to share mastery paths, and I did talk about it a little bit earlier, and it's for me, I understand it as like conditional formatting. So you have this module and then kids go through it at their own pace depending on how they do at each level. Okay, so in high school and middle school, we definitely use this. I have seen this done in 4th and 5th grade, especially before when we used to have Blackboard. They had these type of features in Blackboard, so it is in here as well. I have seen lower grades start to use it, not in the beginning, but we still want to show you what it is so that you have the choice. Okay, so I'm in a module right now. Let me just show you from this view. So let's say I'm in Commons right now and I found one. I just typed in mastery paths and then there were some samples in there. It's just an easier way for you to see it. So this one is called 4th grade comparing and ordering whole numbers. So here's just a preview of what they look like. So they would take a test, and depending on how they do on the test, then they'll be brought into tutoring. If they didn't do as well, they're gonna have to go through a tutoring session. I'm gonna skip through those. And then at the end, they go through a discussion. And at the very end, everyone ends up at the back, same place where they're all going to take a post test. It's just what they did between the pre and the post is what's different depending on how they did. Okay, so now I went through that really quickly. Let me show you what that looks like in here. So now I'm actually in my modules right now. I brought that in, and so I want you to see what it looks like from my end as a teacher. So here it is as a teacher. I could see that same one we were just looking at before. You could see I have mastery paths. I'm not going to show you how to do it today because I know we've learned so much already today. We'll spend another time to do it, but let me just show you. So when I click on mastery paths, you could see this. So here's their first quiz. If they get 8 points and above, it will take them to challenge activities. If they got 6 points, six and 7 points, then they would get practice. And if they got 0 to 5 points, it would take them to tutoring. So you see how it brings them to different places depending on, and yes, I know this is a lot of work because now you have to prepare stuff for the challenge, the practice, and the tutoring. But you know, you want to spend a lot of time into really good units, you know, things that would be useful for all the kids. So just, I'm not gonna show you how to actually do this today because this takes an hour in itself, but just so you see what it looks like. And let me show you one Ricardo is doing in the high school session right now. He's doing this one. Look at this. This is pretty amazing. So his kids, it's out of 5 points. If they get 3.5 and above, they can choose this pathway or this pathway. You see the word or. So depending on what type of learner they are, they can choose which way they go. Okay. If they're not doing as well, then he said, no, I'm not going to give you a choice. You need to do it this way. And then our students who are really having a hard time, you can see an even longer path that brings them through even more practice. So this is just really refining the work that they're going to be doing. But I know some of us are not there yet. That's okay. I won't be offended by that. But before we move on, wait a minute. Okay. Before we move on, I just kind of wanted to get a little bit of an opinion here because I know some of us might be ready for mystery paths, and we want to do a training just for you who are ready to do it, just like a small training. And if there are some of you in here who feel ready for that, then we'll go ahead and do one for you maybe on Thursday or Friday, about an hour, and just spend time and guide you through actually making these mastery paths. Is there anyone here in this room that is interested in that? And if you are, you can either raise your hand or you can, let me just stop sharing right now. You can either raise your hand or at the very bottom, you see the reactions. You can click on a reaction and then you can raise your hand there or clap or thumbs up or anything. Just give us some sort of signal that you might be interested in that. Okay, perfect. I only needed one of you. I see at least like 5 of you. All right.
Is there
So,
something we should do to be ready for it? Like create stuff, have stuff?
It would be great if you had something in mind already, maybe a quiz already. But if not, we'll go through the process together. It's just a few of us, so I think we should be able to work through it together. Okay. So for those of you who did raise your hands, I think we have other trainings this week, Christina. So I think our only opening really is Thursday or Friday. But I think some of them have meetings on Thursday. Those of you who said you would attend, do you have meetings on Thursday? Yes. Oh, I see the big nods. Okay. So let's do Friday then. And for those who can't, we'll record it. Okay. So Christina, is that fine with you? So we'll open up.
Sounds great.
On Friday, we'll do a 2 to 3 session just for mastery paths. And if you want to come, it's going to be on the same link for today, HLP USD MUN. It'll be there for you. Okay. All right. So those who are ready will go. And so at this point, we'll go ahead and we're done with what we were going to cover today. We're going to go ahead and answer questions right now. Christina, you want me to read them for you?
Yeah, and I just really quickly, I saw that Kat had posted, I think it was Kat in the chat, that she added a Bitmoji stop sign at the end of each module. So as the students go through, they're able to click like the next button, and that's really awesome. Then they know, okay, finally I'm done, right? I don't need to keep clicking next. So we appreciate you sharing that with us as well. Just had a question. Oh, she was just saying differentiation depending on their proficiency or mastery level.
Yes, Dr. C is, yes.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'll read the first one. So we have one that says, I do daily modules with a date and time it should take. I am confused on what shows up on the to-do list.
It's hard for us to show that with our students because we don't really have students in our classes per se for our sake. I'm not sure if it comes up with it next.
Are we talking about the teacher to-do list or the student to-do list? Because those are two different things. So Kat, if you want to, it says to Kat, if you want to chime in with what your question was, feel free and we can kind of answer that. Are you still here? We scared her.
Anything you do on assignments, from what I've found, goes on the students' to-do list, and they can even check their calendar. I use my daily agenda to make a platform for all the things that are not on Canvas, things they have to do. And then I'll say, see to-do list at the end of the time, and they'll finish that.
Perfect. So yes, I've noticed that too. From the student's point of view, they see pretty much everything. And then from the teacher's point of view, I think it's more of a things that are done and have not yet been graded. It's kind of to remind you on what you need to grade and things like that. Okay. The next one. Okay, we already talked about emojis. I added a bit. Oh, Bitmoji stop sign. I think we said that. That's so awesome. Just so you know, my daughter, when I see that stop sign, I'm like ecstatic because I know that we're done. And when it's not there, I'm like, are we done? All right. So, sorry, no mic or camera. Oh, Kat, it's okay. You have no mic or camera. All right. So hopefully we were able to address your question. And if not, go ahead and put it in the chat and we can go back to it. Okay. So I don't see any other time for office hour. Okay, bye. So if you want to go, we're more than welcome to that. But if you want to stay for some live questions, you have Christina and I ready here to answer any questions that you have.
Teresa,